What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video, well, every other day. We always have a good time here. Look, it's been a while since I did an on-demand video because, frankly, I haven't thought that there was a reason to do one for some time. And my job doesn't always allow for me to drop what I'm doing and do one of these videos that I might think is kind of great. But today, I was working out like 10 minutes ago when I heard what you heard, and then I had to go and check to make sure it was true, and it is. Arch Manning, the number one quarterback in the 2023 class, has committed to the University of Texas. As a watcher of this channel and a listener of the Number One Ranked Show podcast, you know that I have said from the beginning that of the three places that Arch Manning was choosing to take an official visit, Texas was the best fit. It had all of the amenities, it had all of the personnel, and it had all of the backing that is needed to turn Arch Manning into what I think could be a Texas football legend. It also gives him an opportunity to carve his own path and make his own way. This is the latest, greatest quarterback in the first family of football, right? You'll know that his grandfather, Archie Manning, for whom he is named, was a legendary player at the University of Mississippi. You'll also know his daddy Cupper went to Ole Miss too, and his uncle Eli, Super Bowl champ, he also played quarterback at Ole Miss, and his uncle Peyton is sainted in Knoxville at the University of Tennessee. But what made, I think, this more interesting for Texas is that they get to say, we're rolling into the SEC by 2025, if not sooner. So the Manning family stays in the SEC. It's also a hop, skip, and a jump from where he lives and has grown up, New Orleans, where he plays at Isidore Newman, just over the border to the 40 acres in Austin. And what a tremendous win this is for the University of Texas and Steve Sarkisian, who's coming off of a 5-7 season and a loss to Kansas at home, including a thriller of a loss to Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl, to land the number one quarterback in the 2023 class. And I feel very confident in saying they have two generational quarterbacks, either who's going to start in Quinn Ewers and one that's going to follow him up in Arch Manning. There also have been lots of players who have been waiting to see what Arch does to see what they do. There are a couple of players that want to commit to Texas based on Arch Manning committing to Texas. And we saw what we thought was Arch leaning toward Texas when his best friend committed there over the weekend. I also need to add in here that now we're about to have some real moving and shaking at the quarterback position everywhere because Arch is a major domino. And again, the biggest quarterback commit since Quinn Ewers, who reclassified to go to Ohio State since has transferred to the University of Texas. I think that he could play this year, play the next year, get out of the way, let Arch in, and then you have Steve Sarkisian having Texas running at the quality that it wants to run at by the time it joins the vaunted SEC, and will have an opportunity to play Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, what have you, by the time Arch is on the 40 acres wearing that burnt orange. I think that he has the potential to be the pillar for which they build a national championship caliber football team around, if not win one. This is a man who could go down in history like Vince Young, like Ricky Williams, like Earl Campbell, as one of the best Longhorns to ever do it, but also could be the man to bring Texas all the way back. And I've said that for some time. I'm in on Texas in 2022. And I've been in on Texas for its recruiting advantage and what it can offer Arch in the form of you're going to be sainted here. There's not going to be a bigger name, a bigger player that plays in the state of Texas, let alone the University of Texas, than Arch Manning. Also means that this is blessed by his family, so you have the backing of the Mannings behind you. Steve Sarkisian, who's an outstanding offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. I can't wait to see what he looks like in that burnt orange. I also am really fascinated to know that I got this one right. It feels good, right? Because I was ahead on Trey Sermon a couple years ago. I was ahead on Travion Henderson some years ago. I was ahead on Marcus Freeman some years ago. And for me personally, as a watcher of the sport and a person who has to give a prediction, you know, I hadn't really had a big win since 2020 Alabama. So allow me that. Just, you know, it's nice to know that I'm still really, really good at what I'm doing no matter what I'm doing because I love this. Like, this stuff really does charge me up, and I really do get such a big kick out of reading about these players and their journeys and seeing where they fit and how they fit and who they fit with and where I think they're going to have the best opportunity. Because when I talk to players, the thing I tell them from the jump is go where you're wanted, go where you're going to have a good time. That's not always a blue blood program. Sometimes that's a D2 program. Sometimes that's Northern Iowa. Sometimes it's Texas, right? That's the way that it works out. I also think that Alabama knew this was probably going to come because Nick Saban took Eli Holston, a 2023 quarterback, back in May. Georgia never felt like a good fit for Arch's skill set because they don't want you to throw the ball all over the yard at Georgia. They want to run the ball and play defense. The star of the Georgia football program is the defense. They haven't had a 3,000-yard passer in about 7 years, right? You really got to go back to Aaron Murray for the last time they actually threw the ball around a little bit, and that's about the way that Michigan threw the ball around last year. It's just not what Arch Manning's skill set allows for. That's a 4,000-yard passer and a 40-touchdown passer that is going wherever he's going now. It is going to the University of Texas. This is going to be a massive story moving forward because we didn't know what the timeline was for Arch Manning. We didn't know when he was going to make this announcement. And true to form, he hasn't really wanted to engage much with large amounts of media, and he's kept this doing it his way. It's remarkable to see because most kids, they really do like the attention. I mean, who wouldn't? And they really do like name, image, and likeness deals. And not only does Arch not really want the attention or need the attention, I should say. It's not that he's pushing us away. It's that he's just not asking for it. He also is the kind of dude that doesn't want a name, image, and likeness deal. He is the kind of quarterback that many coaches are dreaming about right now because you don't have to worry about coming up with $3 million, which is his market valuation, to pay him annually to be on your roster, let alone to start at quarterback. This also means that Texas is going to be really good. Like, that's how quarterback recruiting works. If you get a dynamic quarterback, a 5-star, the number one player in your cycle, you should finish inside the top 5 of recruiting, and that sets you up for years down the line at a moment when it's about to get rowdy in college football, right? Name, image, and likeness is getting rowdy. Transfer portal dates and closings are about to get rowdy. We're going to see the college football playoff make a decision for the 2025-2026 format. I hope sooner rather than later, but they've since cooled that. We're probably going to see even more moving and shaking among the conferences. We're going to see games played in places that we've never seen games before. Like there's one in Dublin, Ireland, between Nebraska and Northwestern this year. I'm excited to see what college football looks like by the time Arch Manning gets to it and to us. But again, so excited for Longhorn fans on this one because y'all are back to where I thought you could be when you had Colt McCoy 2009. It looked like you were going to play for a national championship. You did play for a national championship. Then Nick Saban announced himself over Texas's dead body. And now you get an opportunity to go at the Tide September 10th on Big Fox and Big Noon with Arch Manning already on your sideline, a player that the University of Alabama really wanted and was not shy about saying it. Very excited about college football this season. Very excited about the future of the sport. Very excited to see if Texas Longhorns can reach their potential. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.